Imagine a situation where a bunch of high school kids ended up getting stuck inside of a hospital with a 1,000-year-old demonic vampire that was preying upon everybody that was locked in there. A hunter's quarry, all right? I don't really think there's any healthcare plan that exactly covers that situation, unless we're talking about like an IV bag filled with holy water. Today I'm going to be covering an Are You Afraid of the Dark episode that I consider to be probably perfect. It's got all the scare factor, the creepy factor. It's got intense moments and tension built throughout the pacing of the story. It's got a really clever setting in terms of the monster that they choose for it. The way it interacts with the setting is pretty fitting, and although it is kind of on the nose, I think it's a good choice to have for a kids' horror episode. And the characters aren't actually pretty bad. So, without further ado, let's talk about that episode, which is Are You Afraid of the Dark's The Tale of the Night Shift.
The Tale of the Night Shift.
The Tale of the Night Shift is an episode which begins off with us getting introduced to various different characters. This includes the main character, who I believe her name is Amanda. She's a high school girl who's very diligent, very good at her work, very good at grades, responsible. So on her free time, she's volunteering at the local hospital. You also have another girl who I believe is named Margot. This is sort of the new girl to the hospital, and she's essentially volunteering there and also quickly becomes friends with Amanda. Then you have Colin, who's a patient that's waiting to get his tonsils taken out. He's more so the comedic relief in the episode, kind of a rebel who has feelings towards the main character, the protagonist, Amanda. And you also have Felix, who is a high schooler who's basically a janitor at the hospital, and he's probably my favorite dude in this entire episode because he plays Blake.
Felix!
Who, if those of you who don't know, I'm talking about the Navy Thunder Ranger from Power Rangers Ninja Storm.
Thunderstorm! Ranger form! Power of thunder!
I'm a giant Power Rangers fan, so seeing that Blake, the Navy Thunder Ranger, is in here, bro, that shit is dope as hell. And I'm not gonna lie, in a situation where you gotta fight off a killer demon vampire and try to save the world, try to save a hospital, I would definitely pick a Power Ranger as like the number one dude, the number one type of hero that I want there to come and save the day. So hopefully this man makes it till the very end because he's about to whoop that ass. Yeah, he got folded. Okay. He got folded. He got killed. He got thunderclapped. You get the pun. Can we still bring in the Red Ranger? Preferably with the Battleizer. So Felix ends up getting called into the basement area to go check on something. I believe his boss goes and sends him in there. And I think there's even a meta reference where his boss calls him Zebo for some reason. I'm not sure why, but hey man, that was cool to see. So Felix ends up going inside of this basement, and as he's down there trying to look for something, he ends up seeing this very attractive young girl who then starts basically seducing and luring him behind a corner.
Felix. Come here. I want to show you something.
And as soon as I saw that, I was like, boy, ain't no way, boy. Yo, this is a kid show, bruh. This is a kid show, man. The implications behind this scene was crazy. And I'm not going to lie to you, I would have folded. I mean, listen, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I would have folded, all right? Listen, if the vampire ended up dressing as Victoria Justice, as Prime Serena Vincent, know what I'm saying? As Cinnabrit, shit, I would have folded like a bitch. Are you kidding me? I would have flat out went behind there and thought I was finna get some action. But no, he does get action. Not the kind he was looking for.
I don't think we're supposed to...
Yeah, so that's basically the situation. There is a vampire on the loose, a demonic, ghoulish-looking vampire that's about to start raining havoc down at this hospital. And as the story continues, you see how events start to unfortunately unfold. So after that, you get introduced to Amanda and Colin's relationship. Colin sort of has feelings towards Amanda. He's waiting to get his tonsils taken out, and he tries flirting with her a bit, but she's focused. She's hyper-focused on the goal. And as the story keeps on going, you see that while Colin and Amanda are kind of bantering and having some interactions between each other, everybody else at the hospital is slowly getting picked off one after another. You get this creepy scene with this woman employee who's going into this like room with like bathtubs. I think it's like a physical therapy or washroom place. And that reminded me a lot of that one scene from Halloween 2. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. That was very creepy. And it doesn't take a genius to know that things probably go very bad for her as well. So as people kept getting picked off one by one throughout this story, eventually Amanda and Colin start to pick up that something very much is wrong. They notice this when they go into like this random room and they see that there's all these like several dozen blood bags that are all empty inside of there. And when Colin thinks, you know what, maybe a rat got to it, maybe some accident happened that caused all these to spill, Amanda right away says that blood bags aren't even supposed to be in this storage area. So somebody clearly and deliberately brought them in over there for some sort of reason. And she notices that everybody starts acting weird, their behavior starts changing up. She's not finding all the different employees and patients. They're going missing temporarily for some reason. And then when they do reappear, they pretty much look like brain dead. They look pretty much like zombies. And she knows that the night shift just began, so they can't be dead tired just yet. And eventually what happens is as they're trying to find out some clues and figure out what's going on at this hospital, all of a sudden Colin gets this fantastically, amazingly strategic idea to go into the morgue. And the reason why he gets this amazing idea is because there was a kid who was basically joking that he wanted to go into the morgue because he was getting bored of just waiting around in his patient room. So then he decides, oh yeah, that kid probably actually did go into the morgue. Homo erectus, bro. This man's setting us back 1,000 years. But it is a horror episode, so I can't expect the best of decisions. But hey, man, it's a morgue. They can't possibly find anything bad in a morgue, right?
Is that a body?
No, it's a pinball machine. Come on.
Yeah, the dude was dead-ass shocked that he found a dead body in the morgue. If you thought Chuck from Gruesome Gourmets was bad in terms of straight Neanderthal behavior, this dude is sending us back literally 100,000 years back to when we were hunting mammoths and saber-toothed tigers. This dude is an idiot, bro. He's a flat-out dumbass. And when they get to the table, of course, they end up finding none other than Felix. That's right. Old Navy Thunder Ranger ended up getting thunderclapped by the villain, bro. All because, hey, the blood wasn't rushing to his heart. The blood wasn't rushing to his head. The blood was rushing to another head, if you get what I'm saying. Hey, listen, man. We gotta stay focused, brothers. We gotta stay focused.
Lord have mercy. We must stay focused, brothers. We must stay focused.
So then they very clearly realize that something really, really bad is going on. And as the story keeps on unfolding, they find out that Felix is not dead. No, he's actually alive, and he may or may not have become a vampire slave as well. And they end up finding out after a conversation with Felix that after the vampire attacked him, it basically drained him enough to the point that he became this subservient kind of vampire slave to the creature. He's sort of following its commands. He's sort of acting instinctually based on his desire for blood. And he's not fully there yet. Right now, he's not fully transformed to the point that he's lost his mind or he's damn near about to be a husk of a corpse. No, right now he's sort of in that half limbo state. And everybody else in the hospital, apparently who's getting attacked by this vampire, are all in this half zombie limbo state as well. Because this vampire essentially wants to make sure that he can take down everybody and make sure that nobody can get away. And then once everybody's half transformed into the zombie state, he's going to come back and pick them off and drain everything that's left inside of him until he's well fed.
There are no nurses, there are no patients, there's nobody left. It's been feeding on everybody. Only enough to control them. Not enough to cause a panic. Once it gets everybody, it's gonna come back.
So yeah, this is a very efficient villain, man. There's actually a lot of cool scenes involving this vampire throughout the story. I'll just show a quick scene here, but yo, man, if you wanted the Webster Dictionary definition of aura, This is an aura scene from the episode.
There's no use in running.
I'm far too good a hunter.
So now Amanda and Colin have to figure out a way to basically reverse everybody back and find a way to defeat this alleged vampire who they're sort of skeptical with the whole situation going on. Of course, as they encounter Blake and other people, they start putting together clues that something might actually be going on. And when they go back down into the basement led by Blake, because he's still got a little bit of his human consciousness still in there, they end up finding the coffin that essentially was left down here in this basement cellar area for a long time. And it's explained that vampires only need to feed every 50 years. So this vampire has awoken after being dormant for 50 years and is now preying upon the hospital. And actually one of the girls in the episode basically says it for me. It's a genius idea to have a killer vampire inside of the hospital because it's hunting season, man. It's open season. You got prey all around. Just look at the way she explains it here.
And isn't a hospital a great place for it? It's like a candy store.
So yeah, man, everybody at this hospital's basically lives are at stake. And next thing you know, Amanda decides, you know what, she has to take charge. If Blake is going to be slowly transforming more and more after he gets attacked a second time, and Colin is sort of, not really as strong of a personality, she thinks that she should take the leadership role and try to figure out a way to defeat it. So they try finding a way to escape this hospital. They run all throughout it, and they start encountering the various different patients, the employees who ended up getting infected and are trying to take down Amanda and Colin. So Colin decides, you know what, let me go into the cellar and try to get that coffin and throw it into the furnace that they have. Because if they burn the coffin, the way that Felix explained it, they might be able to destroy the vampire only through that method because it's nighttime. So sunlight's not going to be coming up anytime soon. And meanwhile, Amanda's going to go up all throughout the hospital and try to find a way to escape and solve this issue. And she, of course, runs into various different monsters and creatures who are trying to take her down. And of course, these are the former patients and employees of the hospital. And finally, she ends up making her way up to the terrace where she ends up getting cornered by the vampire. And Colin down in the cellar ends up getting cornered by Felix, who's now fully transformed. So these two have to come up with a way to defeat this vampire. And I'm just going to leave it at that because I don't want to give you a spoiler as to what may or may not happen regarding the story. But let me tell you, it is extremely intense. You got some really cool scenes throughout this episode, and especially towards the climax, you got some brutal descriptions and some brutal visuals. I mean, the vampire, when it corners Amanda on top of the terrace, basically picks her up and hangs her over the edge of the roof, like all these stories down, and basically says, you know what? I think it'd be easier if I just dropped you and let you splat to the ground and then lick up the blood and whatever's left of you. I mean, god damn, bro, this man is not playing around. But then he decides, you know what, that's not as fun. Let me just take you down right here, mano y mano, personal to personal. And of course, Colin is trying to struggle, dealing with Felix down there. It's all extremely intense. It's all hair-raising. You get goosebumps hoping that these kids can basically solve the situation. And of course, the situation does resolve. I do have to say that it's a satisfying ending overall. The story wraps up pretty good. And overall, just throughout this entire episode, I think it's perfect. I think that this episode had a fantastic monster design. I love the fact that they went for the more ghoulish, monstrous, demonic look to the vampire. They did this as well as in another amazing vampire episode called The Tale of Vampire Town. Those both have those more monstrous designs for vampires as opposed to the more Bela Lugosi Dracula look, or even worse, the Twilight look. Yeah, we don't talk about that one. It's not that I don't like those more humanistic vampires, but the monstrous ones are way more terrifying to me. They instill that more scary factor. And this is a really intense villain. I mean, this villain has a body count. This villain has taken down patients and employees one by one, coming after the main characters, again, threatening to kill them, threatening to do it in brutal ways as well. There's actual threat level, there's actual danger level behind the villain that actually makes you involved within the story. The main characters are good as well. Amanda's a good lead protagonist female character. Colin is that comedic relief, but hey man, he's got funny lines throughout the entire episode. There's actually a lot of good one-liners throughout this episode. And of course, it's a treat to see Felix, of course, him being the Navy Thunder Ranger from Ninja Storm. I love the fact that seeing him in this kids horror episode, and he's a good actor overall. He does a good job. And on top of that, the pacing of this episode is really well done. There's no real boring point throughout this entire episode. It keeps you engaged, it keeps you interested, it makes sure that you're involved with how intense the story gets. And literally, they can trust nobody, bruh. I mean, listen, man, you would think that you could rely on other people to help you out, but everybody's getting transformed in this episode. Literally everybody, bruh. And you know what? The characters are pretty smart, man. At one point, they decide, you know what? We're gonna call the police. And you sit there going, oh yeah, bro, they're gonna get the cops, they're gonna get the security. We're gonna be good, bruh. Get 5-0 in here. Get the pigs in here. We'll be straight.
Hey, maybe you should come with us.
Man, fuck! Damn it! So see, in this situation, not even the police are safe. Even they're transformed. There's really nobody you can trust. You gotta rely on each other. And dealing with such an ominous, powerful, scary threat, this is a great kids horror episode. So without a doubt, I gotta give this one a perfect 10 out of 10.
Muy bien. Muy bien.
And that's the whole point I'm rocking the suit, man. Because this episode is so good, it's gonna get that trophy. Oh yeah, boy. It's gonna get that
Flawless victory.
trophy. And with that, I recommend that every single one of you go check out this episode. It's fantastic. It's scary. It's intense. It's got good story, good characters. And overall, I think that this episode should be mentioned a lot more in terms of the Are You Afraid of the Dark series. I know there's episodes like Laughing in the Dark, Midnight Madness, Dangerous Soup, Phantom Cab, all these other ones that, in my opinion, either, are good and earn some of that or are kind of overhyped. But this one, I don't see a lot of people talking about it, but everybody who I know have seen the episode love it. And I think for that reason, it's kind of universally recognized as being fantastic. Sort of a similar situation to like Dead Man's Float, except we know Dead Man's Float is one of the most loved episodes and the monster design is amazing. This one's got a similar situation, and I think the story is just as good, if not just a slightly bit better as well. So, that's all I got for today. If you guys enjoyed this review, a free way to support me, a free way to show some love, is to hit that subscribe button down below, hit that like button, and most importantly, comment down below your thoughts and opinions about this episode. Have you seen The Tale of the Night Shift? Have you not? It's free on YouTube to watch from the Are You Afraid of the Dark official YouTube channel, so you can check it out and let me know your thoughts after post-watching it, or if you've seen it before, what are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? How much did you love it or not like it? And let me know down below, what other Are You Afraid of the Dark episodes that I have not already covered do you want me to review for the future? And stay tuned for more content to come. I'm very happy that my college semester finished. It was intense. It was a lot of hard work, but I got a lot more free time for the next month to record content. So I hope you guys enjoy what I pump out. Without further ado, I'll send you guys away. Have a blessed day. Have an amazing day. Smile and laugh. I hope this video made your day just a slightly bit more better and maybe gave you a bit of an escape. So, God bless and goodbye.